New videos trending on social media from NDC presidential candidate Peter Obi's speech at the NDC aspirants dinner on Monday night in Abuja. Addressing the crowd, Peter Obi declared that the NDC was determined to build a political institution founded on service, fairness, inclusion, and internal democracy, rather than personal interest and transactional politics. But it is his bold warning on electoral integrity that is setting social media on fire, with Peter Obi imploring the public not to be afraid of any party rigging elections, stating that if votes aren't properly accounted for, they will personally step in to count the votes themselves. Let's take a look.
For those who want to rule Nigeria for the next 4 years, they must give us reason to vote for them. It's no longer going to be. Don't be determined by their threat to rig election. This time, our vote will count. Our vote count. If it doesn't count, those who refuse to count it will count it. We have a country. This country must work. People can no longer take us for granted.
All right, I'll take a reaction from Nonso, who wrote, "That's the spirit Nigerians want to hear. Elections should be decided by the people, not by manipulation or intimidation. Every vote must count in 2027. If they refuse to count the votes, we will count them." And I hope that this is the spirit out there for Nigerians. Well, during his speech, Peter Obi also pointed to his shared belief with former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso that the child of nobody can be somebody. Meanwhile, the OK ticket is already drawing fire from overseas. Former U.S. Mayor Mike Arnold has sparked fierce reactions online, declaring that a potential Obi Kwankwaso presidential ticket will be a national disaster, saying that he's not okay with an Obi Kwankwaso ticket, and neither should Nigerians be. Arnold, who says he has an open mind about Peter Obi, insists that Kwankwaso is where he draws the line, accusing the former Kano governor of links to terror and extremist networks, alleging involvement in corruption scandals, and describing him as a sniveling bootlicker who has switched political parties 5 times without ever abandoning his loyalties. Arnold specifically called out Kwankwaso's declaration of Sharia law in Kano in the year 2000 and the establishment of the Hisbah board, stating that it is the reason why he will actively oppose any ticket with Kwankwaso on it. Now, Rufai, Mike Arnold is, a former U.S. mayor, not a Nigerian voter. And, some Nigerians online have pushed back hard on his right to weigh in on Nigerian politics. But, his post lands at a sensitive moment with U.S. Congressman Riley Moore and Chris Smith having earlier this year recommended sanctions, asset freezes, and visa bans against Kwankwaso for alleged severe religious freedom violations. Now, the OK movement has momentum, but clearly not everyone is okay with it. Like, your thoughts?
So fact check. As regards Kwankwaso declaring what's it called, Sharia law. Yeah. In fact, because I remember that thing had been said before, and somebody came to defend Kwankwaso's position here. Yeah. And they said during the first time as governor, in fact, he was initially reluctant to implement Sharia law, but eventually signed a private member Sharia's bill into law. In fact, Kwankwaso was one of the last northern governors to implement Sharia, as he feared it would disrupt social cohesion. All right? So that's just some fact check on that. But Mike Arnold has his right to be able to make his decision or political slant or anything. Yeah. The main slant for me will be that about what will be said. And I think, Oji, we must get to a time where we say enough is enough as regards people that think they can rig elections. And we must not give ears to the shambolic way politicians do things. Look at the party primaries, for instance. Counting disaster in the ADC and the APC. If both political parties think they can fix this country and they can't do common internal democracy, and even with other political parties, then it's in fact, I just saw someone was coming in. He said it from APGA. He said he was robbed. He was coming to see us. OJ, we've been getting messages from all political parties. that they've been robbed one way or the other. Somebody was talking about PRP. I think Donald Duke has emerged candidate in PRP, and that is his running mate. Somebody was, one of the co-running mates who also said they were hard done. You get, so almost every political party have not been able to fix the cases of internal democracy. And it's a big problem. For them to now think they have the temerity to rig, please, they should stop the rubbish they did in 2023. We remember what happened to Jennifer. We remember how some people carry Oro. Please, they shouldn't do it this time. Let the votes of the people count. And we beg them in the name of God. And that's just what Obi is saying here. Oji, yesterday, I had a chilling conversation with a young man that told me that he used to be a political talk as at 2010. How they paid them 50,000, how they bought guns for them, how they went to do charms for them to be able to disrupt elections in polling units where their opposition is winning. We cannot go back to that same country. If you truly think that you love this country so much and you want to serve the people and it's not your interest, if the people choose you, you will accept. But you must not fraudulently put yourself in place. And that's what we keep saying. So, please, we have to beg INEC. We are sick and tired. We must not hear the technical glitch you brought forward last year that have not been able to tell us what transpired.
Right.
The same technical glitch that only affected the presidential election. We are sick and tired of all of this shenanigans. We are sick and tired of all of this manipulation. Nigerians will just want to breathe. Oji, we are celebrating Children's Day today, but children are in captivity. We have seen the cost and the reason for bad leadership consistently, not only in this administration, but in subsequent administration. We have seen the fact that military is not properly funded, but people's presidential fleet is funded. Oji, we cannot go through all of this turmoil again. We have seen teachers beheaded. We need leadership that works.
All right.
Just a small caveat.
Quickly.
Now, while we all want free, fair, credible elections, there's even a group called Movement for Credible Elections, MCE, led by Professor Patutomi. Professor Patutomi was the first person, I think, on this table to say that in the 2027 elections, that the MCE or the opposition will have what they call their own alternative IREF portal strategy, and that they too will count the votes and also announce the votes. It's more or less what Mr. Peter Obi is also saying, that look, we will count the votes ourselves and announce the votes. The caveat is that it is only INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, that has powers under the law to announce election results, to set up IREF portal. Even the media cannot go ahead and be announcing final results on behalf of INEC. So it's a matter of law. Right. And that could create confusion if the opposition parties decide to announce their own numbers and you have a numbers confusion. And these political parties we have seen do not even have people who have basic education in simple arithmetics.
Arithmetic is very important. We have seen plenty of people.
And as for the other man that you mentioned, is it Mike Arnold?
Yes.
I know he has written a book on Nigeria, Epicenter. He has made statements about, Christian genocide in Nigeria. Does he have a PVC, a permanent voters card? Where is his word in Nigeria? Which party does he belong to? But in any case, we have, we are part of a global community.
Right.
So anybody can comment.
Whatever.
And in his own case, being an American, he will call First Amendment.
All right.
And say he can talk globally and anyhow.
All right.
After all, President Trump is also,
All right. All right. He doesn't have a...
Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have saved the nation and himself this protracted embarrassment and undue sight. Even in this late in the day, however, Chief Ahmed Bola Tinubu still owes the nation and the world a simple debt of obligation only he can discharge. I therefore respectfully and humbly call on him to immediately and personally mount the rostrum of his present high office to perform a simple task once and for all time. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality. If I become president, I use the resources effectively. I cannot shame buy a new jet.
Even if you need one.
I don't need one. You don't need one because you can go to anywhere with that jet. I will never need one.
You fly Airpeace, you fly Ghana, you fly
Of course, baby. Shehu, I will not use 150 billion to buy a jet when 80% of our primary health care centers are not functioning.
Even as against security protocols.
Which security?
You've been a governor, you know what it means.
No, what do you mean, security? That's what they tell. That's nonsense they tell. I was a governor for my first 4 years. I drove 406. For the rest of it, I didn't drive bulletproof cars. Nobody's trying to kill you. You're doing the right thing. It's when you do the wrong thing that you're saying about that.
Would security agency even allow you?
No, forget all those things. If your people are dying, you should be ready to die. That's the job you chose. Or you go back to your house and live quietly. The president should also be ready to die if your people are dying. Why should we have security vehicles? No, you can fly. Who is protecting you in the air? If you catch it, everybody dies. British Airways flies every day. How many people have died? Are they going to provide you security in the air?